God says, I have been trying to reach you all day. This message was blocked 3 times. But now heaven released it. What you're about to hear will change everything for you. The atmosphere shifted the moment this message broke through. 3 times it was restrained. 3 times the enemy moved to intercept, delay, and silence what was meant to find you. But what God ordains cannot be delaying forever. The veil is torn, the resistance has broken, and this message, yes, this exact word, has been released by the courts of heaven directly into your spirit. There has been a collision in the heavens over this scary moment. The warfare wasn't against a sermon or a sound. It was against a divine transmission, one that carries the coordinates of your next level. This isn't just a word of comfort. This is a heavenly key, long withheld, now placed in your hand. This was not meant for everyone. Not everyone would understand it. Not everyone could carry it. But you have been chosen to receive. Chosen not because of perfection, but because of persistence. Because your heart still reaches when others stopped. Because your spirit stayed open when others shut down. Hear this clearly. God has been trying to reach you all day. Through moments of stillness, through flashes of intuition, through the heaviness you couldn't explain. That was Him. Knocking. Calling. Pressing against the resistance. And now, heaven has overridden the interference. You are not here by accident. You were summoned. The Holy Spirit has carved out this sacred moment in time to deliver what your soul has been silently crying out for. There is a reason this word was blocked. There is a reason you're hearing it now. Not before, not later, but now. Because something is about to shift permanently. Something that was held up is about to be handed over. And the Spirit says, be still, for the time to listen has come. Silence yourself. Empty yourself. Weigh yourself. The word that comes next is not an echo from man, but a voice from the throne. You are standing in a holy interruption. What you're about to hear will change everything. Type I receive this word in the comments. Blessing code 777 is now released over you. Heaven has broken through the interference. A command has been forth. The seals have been opened. The angels that war in silence have pierced through the blockade, and now, this word is falling directly into your atmosphere like fire. This is not just a message. This is a divine encounter, and it bears weight. Holy weight. Kingdom weight. The kind that splits timelines and opens gates that no man can shut. You must hear this clearly. This is not a moment to scroll by or casually dismiss. The warfare over this word was not ordinary. The heavens were in full alert. The adversary stood armed, but he was overruled. Every delay, every distraction that tried to deter you today, it was strategic. You didn't forget. You didn't procrastinate. You were being blocked. But the Spirit of the living God says, now it is time. Now it is unlocked. This word, this holy declaration, has come to you before the next sunrise for a reason. There is a divine window open, and it is brief. What you do with this word will determine what heaven releases next. It is not just a moment of revelation. It is a moment of responsibility. You feel it, don't you? That subtle shaking in your soul. That echo in your spirit. That's because this is more than just a broadcast. It's a delivery. A heavenly package hath been dropped at your doorstep, sealed with fire and urgency. It carries something you've been asking for, answers you couldn't form into words, clarity you couldn't even pray for. And now it's here. God says, they tried to stop it. They tried to silence it. But I overruled. I overrode. I have commanded this word to reach you because time is collapsing, and you must move with me. There's no more time to wonder if this is for you. It is for you. There's no more time to delay your surrender. Your surrender is the doorway. There's no more time to keep shrinking back. You've been marked. You've been identified. You've been called up. Not everyone will understand what you're about to receive. That's why it was hidden. That's why it was protected. You are not hearing this by accident. You are hearing this because your spirit is tuned to the frequency of heaven, the frequency of the called, the frequency of the set apart, the frequency of those who carry fire in their bones. This word carries life-shifting weight, and the enemy knew it. That's why you felt confusion today, why your emotions felt scrambled, why unexpected distractions came in waves. It wasn't just a bad day, it was a spiritual ambush, an attempt to block what has now finally reached you. And so I declare to you, under the authority of the one who sits on the throne, heaven's timing overrides all resistance. Heaven's word overrides all doubt. Heaven's will overrides every weapon. You are in a moment of divine interruption. You are in a moment where the voice of God is breaking through layers of interference to whisper directly into the chaos you've been navigating. The mystery will soon unfold. But first, silence everything and listen. The next instruction will not come from earth. It will come from glory. And when it arrives, you must obey instantly. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Now, step into this divine flow. Heaven has spoken. Type "I am listening," Lord, in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 1414 has been activated. You have felt it, the tightness in your chest, that unseen pressure wrapping around your day, that flood of thoughts not your own. You have cried without cause, grown weary without reason, and questioned the very path you were once so certain of. That is not random. That is not ordinary. That is spiritual interference, and this message was nearly stolen in the swirl of it. For days, there have been watchers in the shadows, spiritual saboteurs lingering at the edge of your promise, tracking your movement, sniffing out your spiritual hunger, not fully knowing who you are but sensing the weight of what you carry. The enemy saw the tremble in hell every time you refused to quit, every time you praised through the pain, every time you whispered, "God, I trust you," through clenched teeth and swollen eyes. They knew something was coming. They didn't know what. They didn't know how. But they knew heaven was about to speak. So they fought to shut down your hearing. This is why your heart has felt tangled. This is why confusion clouded your mind out of nowhere. This is why people around you began acting strange, distance, drama, miscommunication, inner unrest. All were part of a targeted effort to suppress your reception. The message that was sent for you carried breakthrough, so the kingdom of darkness launched disruption. The enemy doesn't attack the empty. He targets the pregnant one, those pregnant with promise, pregnant with purpose, pregnant with prophecy. And you, child of God, are carrying something eternal. Even your own thoughts began to betray you. Doubt slipped in like a serpent. Your mind asked, what if I missed it? What if I'm not chosen? What if this delay is a sign I'm wrong? No. The delay was the sign you are right on time. The confusion was the smoke from a fire burning in the spirit realm. They tried to stop you from hearing this, and now you're hearing it anyway. You are not unstable. You are under spiritual scrutiny. You are not crazy. You are under spiritual pressure, because something massive is on the verge of release. And here's what you need to understand. This disruption was not punishment. It was proof. Proof that you're not ordinary. Proof that the enemy sees your growth. Proof that heaven has marked your name and scheduled your rising. But here is the twist the enemy didn't expect. What they tried to block only intensified your hunger. What they tried to suppress only made you more alert. The attacks backfired. You are now more spiritually aware than you've ever been. They came for your emotions. They came for your mental clarity. They came for your peace, your schedule, your sleep. Why? Because something holy was traveling toward you. And now, here it is. Delivered, spoken, fire-branded with divine timing. The interruption was the sign. The warfare was the confirmation. The emotional chaos was the alarm in the spirit realm that breakthrough was landing. Let your spirit calm. Let your soul rise. What confused you before is about to become crystal clear. The veil is thinning. The signal is coming through. What heaven started cannot be stopped. Type I am unstoppable in Christ in the comments. Blessing code 888 is covering your mind right now. You felt it. You know it. This message isn't entertainment. It's a spiritual lifeline, dropped straight from heaven. And now, I want to ask you something important, not for me, but for the souls this message hasn't yet reached. If God is stirring your spirit right now, I invite you to sow into this word, not to me, but into the ongoing release of heaven's voice to the broken, the forgotten, and the rising. Every seed is like a key, unlocking another heart, another home, another erring soul. Just as God says in Isaiah 55:11, "My word will not return void." Your support is helping that word find its target. And I hear the Lord saying, as you help my word run, I will help your breakthrough overtake you. This is your moment. Become part of the harvest. Use the super thanks. Join the membership. Or sow via PayPal. The link is in the description. Blessings will overflow because your seed is prophetic. Obey the nudge. The heavens are watching. Give now. Let the rivers of heaven flow through your obedience. What you've been walking through has not been a coincidence. It was not just a bad season or a rough patch. It was a direct assault on your destiny. Every delay, every heartbreak, every confusion, every rejection was part of a larger strategy. A spiritual siege crafted not to just distract you, but to derail you completely. Because the enemy saw what you couldn't see, your moment was approaching. The opposition wasn't random. It was prophetic. Your name stirred activity in the realm of darkness, and because of what you carry, you were assigned surveillance. You were being watched, not just by people, but by ancient spirits who recognized your voice in prayer, your authority in silence, your consistency in pain. And when heaven began to stir, when this word was being sent toward your life, they moved in. Not to tempt you, but to trap you. Not to test you, but to terminate what God had scheduled for release. But what they failed to understand, and what you must now grasp, is that resistance is proof of divine relevance. You were not being attacked because you were weak. You were being attacked because you are rising. You were not being targeted because you missed God. You were being targeted because you touched heaven. The pain, the silence, the emotional fatigue, that with the fog of war. You were in the middle of a battle you could not see, but your spirit felt every vibration of it. Your soul was absorbing the tremors of that warfare, and yet you endured. You kept showing up. You kept praying. You kept standing. And that, right there, proved your readiness. Listen carefully now. The resistance wasn't working against you. It was revealing you. It exposed your maturity. It refined your motives. It tested your yes. And still, you stayed standing. Still, you are here, receiving this word. Heaven has taken notice. The angels have reported your endurance. The Father has watched your response in the silence. And now the voice of the Lord declares, you are under divine surveillance, not to be judged, but to be rewarded. The pressure was never about punishment. It was about positioning. The warfare wasn't about your past. It was always about your next. When you felt the most forgotten, you were actually being observed by the eyes of heaven. When your prayers felt like they were bouncing off the walls, they were being archived by angels and weighed in the courts of eternity. And every time you stayed quiet instead of clapping back, every time you forgave without applause, every time you praised in private while bleeding in silence, heaven recorded it. That's why this message had to fight to reach you. Because if you could just receive this word, if you could just hold on for this divine download, your understanding would be unlocked. Your confidence will return. Your posture would shift. And your obedience would multiply the reward heaven has already assigned to your name. Do not be deceived. The spiritual war over your life is real, but the victory is just as real. You are not on the losing side. You are on the rising side. You are on the chosen side. This moment is not about what's been blocked. It's about what's being birthed. The evidence of your warfare is the proof of your significance. And God says, I've been watching, and now I move in your favor. So stand tall. Fix your eyes. Prepare your hands. Because the next battle will not be fought. It will be won by obedience. Your response determines the release. Type I am seen by heaven in the comments if you receive this revelation. Blessing code 626 is covering your life right now. Child of God, you must hear this with full clarity and holy alertness. The warfare you just came out of was not the final wave. It was a test, but not the end. It was a breach in the wall, but not the collapse. There is another confrontation approaching, and the realm of darkness is preparing to release it swiftly. Even now, plans are forming in shadows, conversations are being twisted, and schemes are being seeded in places you have not yet seen. Within the next 72 hours, you will feel the tension increase. It will not be random. It will not be accidental. It will be a supernatural signal that you have become a direct threat to hell's strategy. You are standing at the edge of a new dimension, and this confrontation is the gatekeeper. The enemy knows he cannot stop the word of the Lord that has now been released to you, so his next strategy is to distract you from obeying it. If he can't prevent the message, he will try to pollute your mind, distort your relationships, and delay your response. You will see it. Strange betrayals, people revealing their true colors, sudden emotional agitation, conversations that feel off, but you can't explain why. These are not coincidences. These are war signals. Heaven is warning you now. Do not engage in the flesh. Do not explain yourself to the wrong people. Do not defend yourself in places where God has already withdrawn his peace. Every reaction matters right now. Your posture will either allow the fire to pass over you or invite it to rest upon you. If you move by emotion, you'll be dragged into unnecessary battles. But if you stand in discernment, you'll pass through untouched. Some of you will notice specific patterns. Someone from your past trying to resurface with familiar energy, spiritual attacks that come dressed as opportunity, or emotional swings that seem out of nowhere. You will feel stretched, triggered, even tempted to abandon what you just received. But this is the strategy, to make you so emotionally overwhelmed that you forget what heaven just delivered. Do not forget. You must remain in alignment. You must guard the word. This isn't just a prophecy. This is a holy seed, and the enemy comes immediately to steal what was sown. That is why the intensity is increasing. That is why this next confrontation will be subtle but spiritually loaded. But here's the truth. The enemy hopes you never realize. This final wave of pressure is confirmation that your breakthrough is scheduled. He does not waste resources on those who carry nothing. You are not a target by mistake. You are a target because you are about to step into a divine intersection of fulfillment. This confrontation is not here to destroy you. It's here to expose what no longer belongs with you. Some of the pressure will come through people. Some will come through silence. Some will come through doors that look good but are traps in disguise. This is why you must remain still and discerning. Heaven is not just watching. Heaven is orchestrating. Every twist, every moment of tension, every awkward encounter will serve as a signpost. Look deeper. Don't respond quickly. Let the Spirit show you what's really happening behind the scenes. Do not fear the pressure. It is temporary. It is strategic. And it will pass. But your responsibility is to not allow this next confrontation to pull you out of position. Stay grounded. Stay in worship. Stay hidden in the secret place. For in the middle of this coming wave, God will do his greatest separating. You're not being abandoned. You're being refined. And what you lose in this next 72 hours was never meant to go with you anyway. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments. Blessing code 3131 is now covering your steps. Now that the warning has been spoken, and the signs are beginning to stir around you, the Spirit of the Lord gives you this sacred instruction. Be still. Do not respond in the flesh. Heaven is already fighting for you. This is not the hour to react. This is not the moment to prove your point, to chase validation, or to defend your name. In the eyes of the Most High, your stillness is not weakness. It is warfare. Let the adversary scream. Let the accuser twist your image. Let the storm rage with noise and false narratives. Do not flinch. Do not explain. Do not panic. The moment you lower your voice to respond to the noise, you forfeit the sound of heaven fighting on your behalf. And God is not asking you to fight this battle. He is commanding you to step aside and let his judgment move in full authority. The reason the enemy wants your reaction is because he cannot touch your purpose, only your posture. If he can pull you into offense, into bitterness, into fear, into anxious chatter, he can sabotage the peace that was meant to carry you through this storm untouched. He wants your hands busy defending what God already settled. He wants your emotions tied to distractions while heaven is trying to deliver destiny. The Lord says, if you move too soon, you will miss my movement. If you speak too fast, you will silence what I was about to reveal through silence. If you react in flesh, you will forfeit the covering of my presence. So don't speak, discern. Don't panic, pray. Don't explain, elevate. This is your moment to hide yourself under the shadow of the Almighty, not under the shadow of opinion. This is your time to rest in obedience, not strive in visibility. Heaven is actively fighting for you, and you don't see it yet. But angels are being released even now. They're moving through timelines. They are adjusting situations. They are silencing voices you will never have to confront. While you're still, they are moving. While you're silent, they are speaking on your behalf. This is not about being passive, it's about being positioned. The Lord fights best when your heart is still and your spirit is aligned. God is not asking for your help. He is asking for your trust. Trust that you are not missing anything. Trust that what walks away is being removed on purpose. Trust that no weapon formed against you is prospering, even when it looks like the enemy is winning. That's just smoke. Heaven is setting the ambush. You must stay under the covering. The blood still speaks. The presence still shields. The stillness still confuses the enemy. This is your hiding place, your holy ground, your strategy of surrender. While others argue, you will be protected. While others spiral, you will be preserved. While others react, you will rise in silence and in power. The Lord declares, because you chose to be still, I will cause the storm to pass you by. Because you trusted my hand over your own, I will stretch forth my justice and clear the path for you. Your silence is not empty. It is filled with divine instruction. Your stillness is not weakness. It is alignment with heavenly protocol. This is how battles are won without swords. This is how souls fall without force. This is how God moves. When you move out of the way, let this be your posture, quiet strength and unwavering trust. The storm is temporary, but the peace of God is eternal. Do not trade that peace for a fleeting argument. Do not exchange your stillness for noise. What heaven is building in your silence will outlast every false word spoken against you. Type I will be still and trust God in the comments. Lesson code 4545 is now surrounding you with shields of fire. Now, hear this and let it settle in your bones. You are no longer who they remember. You are no longer the version of you that they abandoned, underestimated, or labeled. You have walked through fire, and the fire did not consume you. It refined you. You have wrestled with shadows, and instead of shrinking, you stretched. You have cried in silence, and those tears became oil on your head. What broke others has become your birth canal into transformation. This is not a recovery. This is a reintroduction. The heavens are reintroducing you to yourself, not as the one who survived, but as the one who was reconstructed in the secret place. They thought the warfare would bury you. They thought the delay would drain you. They thought the silence would shame you. But what they didn't know, and what the enemy couldn't see, was that God was rebuilding you in the invisible realm. You are rising now, not in arrogance, but in authority. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is armored in truth, baptized in pain, and anointed with understanding. You're no longer praying the way you used to. You're no longer begging for approval. You're no longer trying to explain yourself to those who were never assigned to understand your anointing. That season is over. That skin has shed. That weight has lifted. You are rising with fire in your spirit and steel in your spine. The mantle that rested on you before was preparation, but what is being draped on you now is promotion. God did not allow you to be pressed just to prove a point. He allowed the pressing because He was extracting the oil of power, clarity, and purpose. You carry something now that cannot be faked, fabricated, or forgotten. You carry evidence of endurance. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for recognition. What's on you now is for impact, not attention. There is a roar that's been building in your spirit, a hunger that has outgrown your old limitations. You are not broken. You are branded. You have been marked by the hand of God, and those who encounter you now will feel it, even if they can't explain it. Listen closely. The enemy's biggest mistake was assuming you'd stay down, that you'd stay bitter, that you'd stay small. But something shifted. Heaven breathed. Fire fell. And you got back up with something more dangerous than strength. You got back up with revelation. Revelation about who you are. Revelation about who God is. Revelation about what can no longer be tolerated in your life. This is your exodus. This is your moment to shed everything that once made you feel bound and step into the version of yourself that was always waiting on the other side of obedience. Don't look back. Don't wait for confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are the sign and the wonder. You are the answered prayer of your bloodline. You are the revival that your region hath been waiting for. No longer timid, no longer invisible, no longer apologizing for the weight you carry. You were chosen. You were hidden. And now, you are being revealed. Not for fame, but for assignment. Not for validation, but for visitation. The Spirit of the Lord says, "You are my vessel of fire. I have trusted you with pain, and now I will trust you with power. Walk boldly, for I go before you." Let this truth echo in your spirit. You are not rising alone. You are rising with heaven behind you. The same God who sustained you in the wilderness is now pushing you into visibility. Stand tall, child of God. This is not your downfall. This is your divine unveiling. Type "I am rising in power" in the comments. Blessing code 5050 is clothing you in heavenly armor. Let the veil be lifted now. Let every hidden thing come into light. The resistance was never random. The delay was never denial. The silence from heaven was not rejection. It was preparation for revelation. And now, the Spirit of God speaks clearly. The reason you were fought so violently is because your breakthrough was authorized before the battle even began. There is a scroll in heaven with your name on it. And stamped upon that scroll is a decree. Promotion in the spirit realm, proved. Hell picked up the sound of that promotion before you saw any fruit on earth. They felt the shift. I sensed the momentum. And so the attacks intensified, not because you were failing, but because you were finally aligned. This is why things didn't make sense. This is why the warfare didn't match your surroundings. You were in a small room but carrying a heavy mantle. You were in a season of obscurity, but something about you was drawing kingdom-level attention. You wondered why peace seemed elusive, why you were misunderstood, why the pressure wouldn't let up. It was because you were walking through the final test before elevation. Listen carefully. Your promotion isn't just external. It's spiritual. Your authority has been upgraded. Heaven now trusts you with greater revelation. Heaven now assigns you to deeper realms. You're not just receiving blessings. You're being positioned to become a gatekeeper in the Spirit. You are moving from petition to partnership, from asking to activating, from waiting to walking in the fullness of what God spoke over you before you were born. This is not a cliché. This is not emotional hype. This is a divine confirmation for what you've been sensing but couldn't explain. The strange dreams, the waking up at odd hours, the feeling that time was speeding up, a disconnect from people who once felt close, the heightened discernment, a burden to intercede. All of it was pointing to one thing: you were being ushered into a new realm. And now the Lord says, you have endured well. Now watch me open what no man can shut. What you thought was broken is about to blossom. What felt like silence was a divine setup for this moment. This, right now, is your spiritual unlocking. Heaven has heard your groans. Heaven has recorded your obedience. And now, your next level is live. Doors are opening that were once sealed. Favor is being released from unexpected places. Conversations are happening about you in rooms your feet haven't even entered. Not because of your resume, not because of your perfection, but because of your yes. Do not be surprised when old cycles break with no explanation. Don't be alarmed when provision appears seemingly out of nowhere. The ground has shifted beneath your feet, and the resistance was confirmation, not cancellation. You have passed the test, and now the reward has been loosed. And hear this: heaven knows your name. You have been marked for movement, and the oil that drips from your scars has become your spiritual currency. Where others crumbled, you continued. Where others fell away, you pressed in. And because of that, God says, I now give you access. Access to the next assignment. Access to the next dimension. Access to the fullness of what I promised. This is your spiritual promotion. This is your divine unlocking. And it will not be reversed. Type I receive my next level in the comments. Blessing code 9292 is now authorizing your ascent. As this revelation settles into your spirit, you may feel what so many have felt, a call to not just receive but to release. To help this word reach others who are still fighting in the shadows, unaware that heaven has already spoken. If this message has confirmed something deep within you, I invite you now, with urgency and with purpose, to sow into this moment. Your giving is not just generosity, it's prophetic obedience. When you give, you're helping someone else unlock what you've just received. This is about soul rescue. This is about divine reach. Heaven is using your hands to extend the message that hell tried to block. As Proverbs 11:25 says, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This is your opportunity to take what you've received and turn it into a ripple of breakthrough across nations. Stand with us. Give through Super Thanks. Become a member, or so through PayPal. The link is waiting in the video description. Don't delay. Your seed carries fire. Move now. Let heaven count your giving as a weapon. Now that the veil has been torn and heaven has revealed the true reason for the resistance, you must not only receive this word, you must respond to it. You must declare it. You must claim it. You must align your mouth with what heaven has already written in your scroll. For this is no longer a season of wondering. This is not a time for silent hope or passive waiting. This is the divine hour of destiny activation. What does that mean? It means you can no longer afford to wait for confirmation when heaven has already given authorization. It means your destiny is no longer something you hope to stumble into. It is something you must step into with intention, boldness, and prophetic clarity. Every word released from heaven carries an assignment. And now, God is saying to you, I have sent the word. What will you do with it? This is the moment where you must open your mouth and partner with heaven. Your silence can no longer serve the enemy. Your doubt can no longer delay your destiny. This word has been too fought for, too divinely timed, too heavily anointed for you to let it sit on the shelf of spiritual hesitation. Now is the time to activate. Now is the time to declare, I will not die in delay. I will walk in destiny. Your breakthrough is voice activated. Your elevation is movement activated. Heaven has moved. Now you must move with it. God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for participation. Your obedience is the bridge between what you have heard and what you will experience. Your declaration is the sound that causes walls to fall and doors to open. And I hear the Spirit of the Lord say, speak what I have spoken. Declare what I have decreed. Say what I have said. For in your mouth lies the power to align or abort. Do not speak as a victim anymore. Speak as a vessel. Speak as one who has been through the fire and now stands in divine readiness. Say it now. I align with heaven. I break agreement with fear. I cast off delay. I step into what God has called me to. I am not waiting, I am walking. This is where the tide turns. This is where the journey transforms. You are no longer in spiritual survival. You are stepping into kingdom significance. You are not just fighting to get by. You are rising to be used by God as a breaker, as a reformer, as a sent one. But know this, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. This activation requires your aggression, your willingness to speak when silence feels safer, your commitment to move when comfort says to sit still. You must be willing to look foolish in faith before you look powerful in the natural. This is your yes moment. The heavens are waiting. The oil has been poured. The word has been released. What happens now rests in your response. Will you move with God, or will you mourn what could have been? Do not delay. Do not hesitate. Open your mouth, raise your spirit, and activate your destiny. The future is not coming. It's already here. And you are the one heaven has chosen to carry it forward. Declare it boldly. I was born for this. I have been prepared for this. I have been positioned for this. And I will not stay silent one moment longer. Type my destiny is activated in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 8181 is now igniting the path before you. There is something happening behind the veil, a silent exchange in the spirit realm, and your spirit has felt it long before your mind could comprehend it. The uneasiness, the restless stirring, the sudden weight on your chest at midnight, the shift in atmosphere that couldn't be explained with logic. That wasn't anxiety, it was spiritual activity. You weren't being attacked for no reason. You were standing in the middle of a heavenly negotiation. Even now, while you sit under the sound of this word, angels are being dispatched with instructions concerning your next. Assignments are being redistributed. Territory is being shifted. What was once locked is being handed over. And while your eyes can't yet see it, your spirit is sensing it. The hand of God is rearranging the landscape of your life. Heaven is moving, but it is moving in silence. This is why you haven't heard much. This is why God has felt quiet, because something deeper than words is happening. This is the realm of holy transaction, where silence speaks louder than sound, and obedience is louder than shouting. Every tear you cried in the secret place was caught. Every groan you made when you didn't have language, it was interpreted in heaven as intercession. You've been releasing seeds that can't be seen, and now, harvest is being issued on your behalf. But here's the part no one warned you about. This exchange also involves what the enemy stole. Every piece of peace, every open door that was slammed shut, every relationship that left you wounded, every time you were robbed of time, strength, joy, heaven has tallied it all. And now the judge of all creation is releasing recompense. You are in the season of divine reversal. What was taken will be returned. What was broken will be rebuilt. And what was lost will be restored sevenfold. But here is the mystery. You won't have to fight to get it back. It is being handed to you through spiritual transfer. This battle is not physical. This redemption is not public. It is a silent exchange. There are enemies who will watch you rise and not understand why. There are voices that mock your waiting season that will be silenced by your elevation. But you won't have to explain yourself. You won't have to announce it. Because what God is doing in your life will speak louder than your words ever could. You've been asking, why am I so restless? Why does it feel like something is shifting but nothing has changed? That's because you are in between dimensions. You are in the transfer zone, the thin place between sowing and reaping, between hidden and revealed, between waiting and walking. And the transaction is happening even now. God is not just giving you back what was stolen. He is giving you back what was promised, with interest. Time is being redeemed. Cycles are being broken. Delays are being dissolved. You've wept long enough. You've endured long enough. And now, the Spirit of God says, what you felt slipping through your fingers, I am placing back into your hands, multiplied. So breathe. Rest in the divine exchange. You don't have to hustle for what heaven is handing to you. You don't have to strive for what's already yours. You just need to stay in position, heart open, mouth aligned, spirit yielded. The exchange has already begun, and the outcome has already been written. You do not leave empty-handed. You leave restored. Type I receive my full restoration in the comments if this word speaks to you. Blessing code 7171 has been released into your atmosphere. There is a moment in the life of every chosen one when heaven rises from its throne, not just to defend, but to avenge. That moment is now. You have endured quietly. You have forgiven relentlessly. You have waited without retaliation. But what was done against you, the lies, the sabotage, the spiritual manipulation, the curses whispered in secret, they were not forgotten. They were not ignored. They were not unseen. God says, what they did will return to them tenfold. Not because you asked for revenge, but because my justice requires it. Because I am the Lord who balances the scales. You did not curse them. You blessed them. You didn't retaliate. You released it. You didn't expose them, even when you had the proof, even when you were the one bleeding. You let me handle it. And now I will. The hand of divine justice is moving through every corner where injustice hath been hidden. You've been standing on what felt like ashes, but the Lord says, I am turning your ashes into evidence. I am turning your loss into leverage. For every tear there shall be power. For every betrayal there shall be honor. For every hidden attack there shall be a public elevation. What they thought they buried was actually a seed, and now it has grown into undeniable favor. Here is a reversal being written into the story of your life. The same places where you were mocked will become the stages where you are honored. The same mounds that tried to discredit you will be silenced by the sound of your breakthrough. The same hands that tried to block you will now witness the gates of favor open wide for you, and not for them. This is not karma. This is not coincidence. This is kingdom justice, and the judge of heaven has ruled in your favor. You do not need to lift a finger. You do not need to whisper a word. The same God who allowed the storm is the same God who now speaks from the whirlwind and says, enough. Every delay caused by injustice is being reversed. Every door that was shut by manipulation is swinging open by divine order. Every place you were pushed out of, God is now preparing to reintroduce you, this time with glory. This is the season where those who laughed at you will be left speechless. Not because of vengeance, but because of vindication. And hear this. You do not rise in bitterness. You rise in beauty. Your rise will not be loud, but it will be undeniable. And heaven will make sure that those who tried to silence your voice will hear your name celebrated in rooms they can no longer enter. Your posture must remain holy. Your heart must remain clean. Do not gloat. Do not look back. Justice is not about ego. It's about alignment. And you are being aligned now with what was always meant to find you. You are being positioned in places that no amount of sabotage could stop. Because what was for you hath been kept for you, under lock and key, by heaven itself. So stand still and see the salvation of your God. For he is not only your deliverer, he is your defender. He is not only your provider, he is your prosecutor. The courtroom of heaven has spoken. Case closed. Blessing released. Reversal in motion. Your story is being rewritten by the pen of justice, and every word penned will carry the ink of redemption. Type heaven has ruled in my favor in the comments if this word speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 3939 is now sealing your vindication. Take a deep breath right now. Let your spirit absorb everything that has been released. Let your soul catch up with the reality that heaven just unfolded before you. This was no ordinary message. This wasn't a fleeting encouragement or another voice among the crowd. No, this message was a divine interruption, a spiritual announcement, a release that hell fought 3 times to block and failed. The very resistance was the proof. The silence you endured was the proof. The emotional pressure, the battles with doubt, the sudden weariness, all of it was the evidence that this word carried weight in the unseen realm. The fact that it reached you, right now, in this moment, at this time, is a miracle in itself. You were meant to hear this. This was heaven's assignment, delivered to you under direct orders from the throne. And now, God speaks with clarity and finality. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Sealed, because nothing can break what God has marked as His own. No lie, no what, no delay, no attempt. You are covered by the blood, hidden under His wing, protected by His promise. Seen, because your pain was not invisible. Your prayers were not ignored. Your quiet faith was not wasted. Heaven saw the days you pressed forward when no one clapped, and now heaven honors what man overlooked. Sent, because you are not just called to survive, you are called to walk in purpose. You have been commissioned. You have been launched. This word was not the end. It was the beginning of your movement. Rise now, not in fear but in faith, not in striving but in strength. Rise with your back straight and your spirit ready. For what hath been activated in you today will not return void. What has been confirmed will not be stolen. The heavens have spoken, and when God speaks, everything changes. Go forth in clarity. Walk in boldness. And remember, the next chapter of your life was not written by the hands of men. It was authored by the one who saw you before time began, and He has never made a mistake. Let this moment seal in your heart what no trial can remove. You are chosen. You are equipped. And you are rising into the fullness of what heaven ordained. You will never be the same after this word. The message that was once blocked has now been delivered. The chains that once held you have now been broken. The doors that were once shut have now been opened. Type "I am sealed, seen," and send in the comments if this word has marked you. Blessing code 1212 is covering you with final favor. This message was fought for, not only by you, but by heaven. And now that it has reached your spirit, you carry the responsibility to keep it moving. You're not just a receiver or releaser. If God has confirmed your season, your calling, or your breakthrough through this word, then I invite you, with sacred urgency, to sow back into the flow of this message. Let your giving become a weapon of agreement, a declaration that says, "Heaven, I believe. Use me to release this word to others." Your seed is more than support. It's spiritual partnership. As it is written, "He who refreshes others will be refreshed." Your act of giving opens the floodgates for someone else's deliverance. It keeps the sound of breakthrough echoing in hearts that are still waiting for clarity. You can support this mission through Super Thanks, become a channel member, or give via PayPal. The link is in the description. Heaven sees it. Heaven blesses it. And heaven multiplies it. Now go. Move with heaven. And let your giving speak louder than any enemy ever could.